Hey, oh, folks, we are back in Judge Lott's court, where Georgia versus Faust is ongoing day 3. On the stand, we have a witness who talks to the prosecution. Clear, consistent, everything that you would expect an eyewitness. No. 25 years later, she remembers things that she does not remember 25 years ago. Remember that, folks, from the from Karen Reed case, but that was 2 years ago. It was 3 years ago. This is 25 years ago. This eyewitness claims to have seen a certain person outside her home near where the victim lived. Which, folks, if you say one thing in a recorded interview back then you say on the stand now. That is changing your story. Normally, you get to ask that person, impeach them on their inconsistent statements. Do you agree? You agree? Now, you might think, oh, but does it really matter that much, that detail? Yeah, actually it does. Folks, let's listen to what she says on the recording. Or try to. I have enhanced the sound as good as I can do. Let's listen.
This morning?
I left at 8:15 to go to class.
Okay. Then you said you saw somebody outside or just walking through. Can you just kind of explain what you saw through this?
Yeah, I was walking to my car and I saw an African-American gentleman walking down my road towards my house. In fact, he actually had to stop walking so that I could pull out of my driveway.
Okay.
There, that wasn't so hard, was it? On the recording, clear and consistent. He had to stop so I could drive out of my driveway. Let's listen.
You live right here. Was he on the road?
Oh, he was coming down this way.
Okay.
Like from the entrance to the neighborhood.
Okay.
Towards this way.
So he was down that far end road down there.
Technically, he was walking down Deer Park Drive.
Okay.
Actually. And I don't know. He was just kind of. He wasn't real. He was kind of nondescript. He wasn't tall, wasn't short, wasn't large guy or small guy. The only thing I remember. He was wearing like an orange-colored shirt, orange or red, something bright.
Orange, bright shirt. Now, for you from another case, you know what this is, but I don't have many bright colored shirt. We can all agree this is a bright colored shirt, a bright yellow shirt. Now, hers is orange, maybe red, but it was bright shirt.
Do you know if he was wearing a hat or anything?
No, he wasn't wearing a hat.
Now, do you remember what kind of pants he was wearing by chance?
I don't remember what color. I believe like kind of baggy, not like fitted. I want to say jeans, but I could be wrong.
Okay. That's fine.
They definitely were. I don't think they were dark color. They were either like a khaki or denim type.
Lighter color, not so dark. Okay. particular that you wouldn't go, you see folks walking a good bit of time. Is there any reason that it stuck out this morning, or is it just because we're asking, or is there?
I kind of stuck out because I was surprised that somebody would be kind of just strolling through that early in the morning. I mean, I've seen people walking through the neighborhood before,
Right.
but not at that particular time of day.
Many folks walk or jog or anything out here, or is it usually pretty?
Yeah, the students that live here usually
In the morning, or is it usually in the evening?
more so in the evening. I've seen people in the morning, but today was kind of weird because it was kind of rainy, so it wouldn't have been a day for them to do that, really. In my mind, I assumed that maybe he was cutting through to go to Walmart. That's what
That's pretty normal.
yeah, I mean, I didn't know
Okay.
what he was doing, but I was like, oh, well, maybe he's just cutting through.
Hey, you might as well, we don't know.
Right.
Was anybody else home this morning, or would have been here, a roommate, or anybody else?
When I left, you were here. I was here until 9 a.m. Then I was back at 11 a.m.
Now, it's a recording. She's listening to it. It's very, very clear what she's saying on the recording. This is a recording this is hours later after she claimed she saw this person, this black man in a bright shirt, maybe some khaki or denim pants. Non-descriptive person. Not too tall, not short, average, yada, yada, yada. When the state asked her, he was wearing a bright hoodie. Now, you might think, hoodie, shirt, what's the difference? Well, would you say it's a difference between a shirt and a bright jacket? Would you say there's a difference? I would say it's different. Impeachable. Are you sure you saw this guy with a hoodie? Why didn't you say that at the day of the murder? Why? Jacket, shirt, difference, right? Why is it important? Well, because prior to this witness, the state had another witness on the stand saying that she saw a black man, generic black man, in a bright jacket. Now, so how does this witness then go from shirt to bright jacket, like one of these fluorescent safety jackets? It's still January. Just then all of a sudden, it's clear difference between a person wearing something warm, like a safety jacket, and a shirt. All of a sudden, now there is a clear difference. So why go from shirt to hoodie? So, of course, now this isn't, you might think, in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter that much? Well, it matters because of this. Let me get ahead.
'20 into evidence, minute mark 13.
No. All right, let's get to Cat, she was live earlier.
You know,
Sorry, Cat. I don't know why Lon and Krim decided to pull that down. All right. So we're going to watch Cat also react to this with her audience.
red, yes.
But it was a shirt. Is that correct?
Hoodie, shirt, sweatshirt.
We have to be
Okay, let's go back here.
Not to my knowledge, no.
And he was walking at a regular pace. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's fair.
He was walking on the roadway, which was open and visible.
Yes,
And you would agree, and I just want to make sure we're clear. Now, this individual was wearing a bright shirt. Is that right?
yes, either orange or red, yes.
But it was a shirt. Is that correct?
Hoodie, shirt, sweatshirt.
We have to be specific.
Remember, she just heard herself say on that recording, shirt. Now, 25 years later, he's all of a sudden wearing a hoodie. Why is this important? Well, because of the prior witness. Why does this witness change her story to align with another state witness 25 years later? Why? I will let you get to that conclusion yourself. Hello, Mr. Jingles. Hello.
Was it a hoodie or a shirt, or you don't know?
If you're asking me, I would say it was a hoodie.
Yeah, but here's the thing, lady. Back then, 25 years ago, hours after the event, you said shirt. Could it be that you were influenced into it during an impeachment? The defense attorney can ask questions like, could this other information have influenced your memory? Do you agree with that your memory hours after the incident is better than 25 years later? That is an impeachment. Standard fucking practice in a court of law. Standard practice.
Your Honor, I would move to introduce
There was
defense
a hoodie, but the hood
exhibit
wasn't up.
20, minute mark 1355 through 1402.
And of course, he does, as any lawyer would do. I want to admit her prior inconsistent statement as evidence. That is in order to be able to impeach her on it.
On what grounds, Mr. Cruz?
Prior inconsistent statement.
All right, Mr. Bolden, or Mr. Yamachili, any objection?
Again, Your Honor, I don't know if there's been anything inconsistent today.
If you'll speak into that microphone, Mr. Bolden.
And of course, the prosecution jumps up and says, I don't think this is. Nah.
Sorry, Your Honor. I don't know that the proper foundation has been laid once again.
He doesn't know if the proper foundation has been laid. Folks, this is the same state prosecution's office that earlier got a demonstrative played and shown to the jury that the defense didn't get to watch until the night before. No foundation whatsoever laid for that demonstrative. None whatsoever. And now, despite having the witness on the record, at the time, hours after the event took place, saying something inconsistent, they have the balls and gall to say there's no foundation.
So I would object.
I'm going to sustain that objection. The proper foundation needs to be.
She immediately sustains it. Now, if you watch my prior video to this, you already know this. How this judge acts, the difference how she acts from the prosecution, who gets away with murder in the courtroom, and this defense attorney, despite a recording, gets his wish to impeach this witness with evidence. Sustained. He is not allowed to impeach this witness on the inconsistent statement. Seriously. What this attorney does. Now, do I agree with what he is saying?
Judge.
Maybe not how he's saying it. What I will play to you now. But he has to protect the record.
I have a motion outside the presence of the jury.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
You say that
In their indictment,
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I am again moving for a mistrial. We can't.
Yeah. He has to move for a mistrial. Because every time the judge clearly shows bias between the prosecution and the defense, he is not allowed to impeach this witness, even though there's a recording of her at the time of the event saying something different from what she is testifying to on the stand. That is textbook impeachment material. And the judge goes, nah, fuck it. Of course, he's asking for a mistrial. It will be denied.
And impeach witnesses. We can't argue consent. The state can present things that we can't present. We can't rebut allegations in their indictment. We are requesting a mistrial. This is not fair. This trial has been worse than practicing in communist Russia. He doesn't stand a chance in this courtroom.
Russia! Oh
The witness made a prior statement. We played the recording for the court. The witness made a prior statement. He was
Brian
wearing like an
Steele.
orange colored shirt, orange or red, something bright. That is a quote. We played the recording. The honorable court was able to hear that recording. Her testimony here today was that he was wearing a hoodie. This is important because the state wants to make all the people that were seen in the neighborhood Mr. Faust. The person that they brought the first witness in for said, oh, he had a jacket. So of course they want her to say, oh, he had on a hoodie. It's an inconsistent statement. We are handcuffed, Your Honor. We are at.
Do I agree with the communist Russia thing? No. There really is no comparison because, folks, I am old enough to have been an adult before the Berlin Wall fell. Okay? Yeah, I'm that fucking old. But I do agree with what he's saying here. That they are handcuffed. The prosecution gets things in that even. Hold on, let me show you. What am I doing? I can actually show you. Well, let me first argue this. I will show you. They get in things that this expert witness prior during the day, that he on cross-examination admits has nothing to do with this case. Nothing. And they just can show it to the jury. And here he is with a recording of her saying something different than she said on the stand. And he is not allowed.
Asking for a mistrial in this case.
Now, Judge Lott is very, very offended by having her rulings questioned. This has been going on pre-trial and at trial.
Thank you. Mr. Bolden, do you care to respond before I make a response?
Your Honor, Mr. Cruz has failed to make proper foundation for a prior inconsistent statement. He has not asked.
Here, the prosecution, he failed. There's a fucking recording of her saying something different 25 years ago than she's saying on the stand. This is prosecutor, I don't give a fuck about his name, ass kissing. Oh, Judge! Oh, Judge! You're so correct. Jesus. Yeah, I don't want to listen to this pile of shit. But let's go back, not to this witness, to this witness, I believe. This witness was testing. How did a fire possibly start in the victim's house? On cross-examination, he admits that he is not a reconstructionist. He admits that this list, which the prosecution relies on when it comes to the timeline of the crime, has nothing to do with what took place in the house, because they don't know what material was used when the fire was started. They don't know what type of bed. They don't know what type of fabric. They don't know if the AC was on or off. They don't know jack shit because the investigation didn't write shit down. So they took 3 generic pieces of cloth, which they have no idea about, put it on a stove, one of these circular electric stove thingy. Does it catch fire? Oh, look, it did catch fire. Let's see how it burns on the bed. Oh, look, it burns. Yeah, folks, if you're going, and this is a statute which the defense brought up, if you're going to bring in this type of tests, it has, even though it doesn't have to be identical, it has to be close enough in facts. And on cross-examination, the defense attorney got this expert to say that this here, our conclusion about a timeline, has nothing to do with the crime scene because they don't know what happened because the investigators at the time didn't write shit down. This is allowed in by the judge. Pure speculation and guesswork is brought in as evidence. Remember my last video? They were allowed to bring in empty evidence bags that should have contained hair from the crime scene, but didn't. Allowed. Now, the defense did an excellent job in showing this to the jury. But still, the judge is there as a gatekeeper. Don't let irrelevant shit in. Folks, I don't know how many times I have to remind everybody about this, but there's only one person in that courtroom who has rights. It's the defendant. The prosecution has an obligation to run a fair trial. The judge has an obligation to be a gatekeeper and follow the law. This does not happen in this trial. They are not even allowing the defense to put up a defense. Folks, you tell me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment. Thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, I'm going to keep following this trial because it is unnervingly bad. From the judge and from the prosecution, and in the middle of this, you have a defense team who is frustrated. And I get it. When you see fundamental fairness being thrown out of court by the judge, I understand. I understand. All right. This is what I had for you for now. Until next stream or video, you all have a good one. See ya. Bye-bye.